So as we reflect this morning, Jesus said that either your eye is good or your eye is bad. So for the good eye, everything you see is good. And for the bad eye, everything you see is bad. In short, we project what we see inside of us. If we are full of hatred, if we are full of jealousy, then what we see around us is hatred and jealousy. That's why, siguro para tayong si Bartimaeus, we need to be healed and from our blindness and see the goodness, the Spirit of God within us, and see the goodness all around us. And also, Jesus shared with us the sign of Jonah, that's the sign that will be given to this generation. So, continuing or connecting the good eye with the bad eye in the story of Jonah, we all go through the Jonah experience. All of us have a experience like Jonah. And it's important that when we experience the pattern or the life of Jonah in our lives, it's important that we have a good eye so we can be empowered and transformed by that experience of Jonah instead of being bitter in our lives. As I will quote Thomas Merton regarding the sign of Jonah, he says that even our mistakes can be eloquent. We have eloquent mistakes if we have a good eye. That's why pag tayo'y nasa belly of the fish as Jonah, and in analogy, when you're in the belly, for example, if you're a food, pag nasa belly ka, pag nasa stomach ka, ano bang nangyayari sa kinain natin? We are being digested. The reason why we are being digested in the belly of the fish, in the belly of whatever situation we are, is that after being digested, we can give nutrients. We can give energy. Di ba ganun ang nangyayari? Every time we digest a food, it is transformed. After it's being transformed from its original state, it gives forth life. So, ganun tayo sa belly ng buhay. We are being transformed and digested for the reason that we can give life to other people and to those around us. So pag sinabi natin we are in the belly of the whale like Jonah, as Jesus said, we face events that we cannot control. We face events that we don't have any answers. When we face events that we don't have immediate conclusion. When we face events when we cannot immediately fix or there's no fix. We cannot understand or we cannot find any meaning. It means with a good eye, it means that we're in the process of being transformed and growing in our lives. Why? Because we cannot help God and we cannot help God to transform us. God is the one who transforms us, and we cannot transform ourselves. Okay? So, as Sonen Kierkegaard, I'll quote from his writings, he says, it's a life of faith. He says that life must be lived forward, but it can only be understood backward. Life can be lived forward, but we can only understood it in hindsight or backward. That's what we call faith. So in the belly of the fish, that's where we grow in faith. That's where we mature in our faith. And it's all about grace. It is when we realize that it is not by our own doing, and in spite of us, God vomits us, brings us to the place that He wants for us, just like Jonah. That a plan that we did not plan, a place that we did not expect, and God, it's all grace. He brings up, He vomits us out to the place where we should be. A place where we should be, and a transformed Jonah. So it's important that we begin to recognize God in situations, in places where we never suspect God to be. You know, God is in the bizarre, God is in the abnormal, God is in the strange, peculiar, or odd, or offbeat situations of our life. In the outside, it might be not what we want. But as Jesus says, with a good eye, we can see God even there. So, sabi nga sa team natin for 2024, enlarging our borders. If we are to enlarge our borders, we have to accept the destruction, the removal of the borders that we have set sa ating buhay. Diba? If we are to go beyond the borders, that's our theme for the year. So God may be doing something personally in our lives, in our ministry, in our church, that He's removing the borders in a way that we don't expect. And parang si Bartimaeus last Sunday, most of the time we hang on to the robe, to the tattered robe, to our comfortable, peaceful border. And we cannot go beyond that border if we hang on to that robe. Like Bartimaeus, then we have to let go of those things in our lives. And that's when we begin to receive the mercy of God, and our eyes began to open. That, we are the ones enclosing ourselves. There's a border that we have set. Illusionary borders that we have set in our lives. So, let's be encouraged by what Christ says, that, let's have a good eye and see God in everything and move beyond the borders that we have hung on to for a long time. Let them go, and this will cause us to see even better in our life.